Does that look like a GMC truck to you? Well, I have a surprise. It's not a truck, but it is a new GMC. It's a 2025 GMC Terrain compact premium crossover. And it's another choice that you, I think, have to consider when you're shopping for a compact all-wheel drive crossover. This is a refresh. Actually, I think it's a little bit more than a refresh because GMC has, of course, they redesigned the exterior and the interior of this Terrain, but they also made it a tiny bit wider, about 2 inches wider, a little bit taller. The overall length is about the same, but I think it offers pretty good value in this competitive set. So in this video, I'm going to show you all the features of it and talk about how it compares to some of the others. So what you see right here is the new elevation trim level, which is now the base trim level of the Terrain. So the older trim levels SLE and SLT are no more. And you see some of the updated styling, including the rear tail lamps. And this is a fully blacked out package. So all the trim level and all the badging is black, but it's two-tone. So something new for GMC, and I love this. I love contrast and multiple colors, so I welcome this. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this new styling update for the new GMC Terrain? So the current 2024 model for all-wheel drive, by the way, this is an all-wheel drive model. The elevation front-wheel drive model will come a little bit later. But what you're gonna get this year for the new 2025 is this, elevation all-wheel drive. Underneath the hood is a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder engine. So not a 4-cylinder, 3 cylinders, but still quiet, powerful, 175 horsepower still, and 203 pound-feet of torque. But it's no longer made it to a 9-speed automatic, it's made it to an 8-speed in this case for the all-wheel drive model. And in the previous 9-speed, the EPA used to rate it at 28 mpg highway and 25 combined, but we should see a number maybe slightly better. We'll have to wait and see what the EPA and GMC say, but it's quite efficient for a vehicle of this size, and it is a little bit more spacious than before. And the previous pricing for an all-wheel drive model started at around $32,000. So we may see something similar for this one. But this is where things change, I think. Take a look at these screens. Oh my goodness. And this is a compact, not full luxury segment crossover, but near luxury, I would say. Huge screen, 15-inch diagonal screen here, and 11-inch cluster in the center. I'm gonna hold my starter button for about 5 seconds so I can be in this demo mode for you, so the screens come to life and I can show you some of the features and the tech inside of this machine. So you can kind of see still kind of trucky interior, and I think that's a good thing because it's kind of muscular and reminds me of a Yukon actually. And huge screens once again. Big cup holders, wireless charging right here, a cubby that's really deep here in the center of the console, and oops, we have a little bit of USB-C and USB chargers in here as well. Redundant switches on the back, on the bottom here for climate control system. So you can enable it, you can control the temperature on the screen or down below. And I think that's a good combination. Let me turn this off. And now this knob for volume is of course on the digital screen, but it is a physical knob and works really well. Nice. So some of the other features, we have new, well, camera, rear camera mirror. So it can be a screen or it can be just a mirror. So that's nice. And of course, GM is known for this, availability of cameras and visibility. And I can show it to you here where you can have a 360-degree view, or you could see in the back, you can see by the tires, and etc. right there. Even though when you're looking towards the rear, sometimes because the camera is zooming in, the resolution of that camera is becoming a little bit fuzzy, especially in low light. But this has been the case for quite some time. And of course, you have access to Maps and Google built in. So you have Google Assistant, Play Store, wireless Apple CarPlay, and wireless Android Auto. So all those features are here still. Now, here I do have my column shift. So park, up for reverse, down for drive, and forward for neutral. I have my low gear range select here on the steering wheel. So if you're in the mountains and you want to kind of control the top gear, you can use the paddle shifters as well. And also select through different screens. You can have a full map screen up here. And this reminds me a lot of the GMC Canyon. So we recently had the GMC Canyon in our office in Colorado, and the graphics and the orientation of some of these controls feels very familiar and very, which is a good thing. So now you might be wondering, well, okay, let's check out the back, but also how does it compare to some of the competition? And I'll continue to tell you more as we move through it. So I think being for a compact SUV or a crossover, this has huge amounts of space. Also panoramic sunroof here. I'm 6'3", this seat is all the way back, and my knees are touching a tiny bit. But guys, this is a lot of mid-size SUVs don't offer this much space. And if I move this forward a little bit, this would be pretty huge. And also because they made it wider, you can kind of see there's a lot of elbow space here as well, and shoulder space. So I can't complain about this. Rear seats, in this case, are heated, and I have my own vents for the back here as well. So lots of comfort. So this terrain would compete against vehicles like the Mazda CX-5. The Mazda CX-5 also comes in all-wheel drive, actually all-wheel drive. And that Mazda starts at around 30,000. So GMC has to be mindful of that. But also there's makes like Lincoln, Corsair, there is Acura RDX, there's Lexus NX. Those have some more power and bigger turbocharged engines, and also higher pricing. For example, NX starts at around $43,000, not low 30s, and on and on and on with the Acura and the Lincoln and some of the other ones like Infiniti, for example. So GMC is playing in this kind of bridge between the mainstream affordable crossovers and really luxury crossovers on the other spectrum. So that's kind of where the GMC is fitting in, especially with this terrain. Let's look at the cargo area. And actually, let me show you one feature that's kind of a premium feature, but it's available on this crossover as well. I didn't touch the key that was in my pocket. The vehicle recognized me because I walked up to the back of it, and those 4 little beeps let me know that the tailgate is about to open. Of course, if you didn't want that to happen, you can disable that feature altogether, or you can just step back as soon as you hear the first beep, and the tailgate would not open. You can also set the height of it, obviously, so for different garage heights, or for different heights, if you're of smaller stature, you can reach up here or push that button. Or there's many ways to open it. You could do it on the key. You could do it inside on the dash. You could walk up to it. I mean, I don't know, what are they gonna think of next? I'm not sure. Maybe you can just think open and it will just open. But still, plenty of space, really wide opening here. There is, underneath this cover, there is space saver spare tire. So the spare tire is here. You could fold these down. You can just reach in and kind of, there's still a little bit of a lip, so it's not a perfect flat floor, but still plenty of space, and you can see all the way forward, especially with the panoramic roof there. You could see pretty clearly throughout this vehicle. So we still don't have price for these. We still don't have fuel efficiency official numbers, but I gave you a lot of indicators as far as competition and as far as the previous 2024 Terrain that starts at around, 31, 32 for an all-wheel drive model. So I would expect pricing similar to that. I would say in the lower to mid 30s for this brand new Terrain. And if you want AT4, the off-road model of the Terrain that's sitting a little bit higher with off-road tires and obviously different off-road modes, that's coming actually in 2025 calendar year as a 2026 model. And the same thing for the Denali. Terrain Denali is coming a little bit later. And also front-wheel drive models of this, if you don't need all-wheel drive, you want to save a little bit of money, those will come in 2025 as well. So that's it for the updated GMC Terrain. Yeah, I like this. I love trucks and it looks really trucky. And I think as far as its features, it has a lot of premium tech all baked into one. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like our merch, check out tflstuff.com and check out all the latest news at alltfl.com right there in one place. Thanks.